Japan, late 16th century, a nation torn apart. The Sengoku Jidai, or Age of Warring States, had raged for more than a century. Feudal lords, or daimyo, battled endlessly for land and power. Castles burned, villages vanished, and from the chaos, legends were born. One of them began in Harima Province in 1584. A child named Miyamoto Musashi, later known to the world as Miyamoto Musashi. His father, Shinmen Munasai, was a renowned samurai under the Shinmen clan, respected for his mastery of the jite and katana. He was also an accomplished calligrapher and strategist, a man of discipline and art. But his household was not peaceful. Musashi's mother, Yoshiko, left when he was still a baby. Some accounts say she was ill, others that she was cast aside. Whatever the truth, Musashi grew up largely without a mother's presence. Raised first by his uncle, Ronin, a Buddhist monk of the Shōrei-in temple, young Musashi received his first lessons in spirituality and restraint, teachings that would one day shape the philosopher hidden within the warrior. But his father's legacy burned brighter. From him, Musashi inherited both raw skill and a stormy temperament. Their relationship was strained. Mudasai was a perfectionist known for strict discipline, and Musashi's defiance clashed with his father's precision. Some legends claim Munasai even challenged his son to a duel. Others suggest they parted ways before Musashi reached adulthood. By his early teens, Musashi was already formidable. He stood taller than most, broad-shouldered, unkempt, often dirty and unrefined. He cared little for etiquette or the delicate rituals of the samurai caste. What he sought was the essence of combat itself, raw, unfiltered truth through the sword. At age 13, he fought his first duel against Arima Kihei, a samurai of the Shinto-ryu school. The young boy had only a wooden sword. Kihei attacked first. Musashi stepped in and struck him to the ground, killing him instantly. It was brutal. It was shocking. And it was only the beginning. By his teenage years, Musashi had already abandoned home, carrying little more than a blade and an iron will. He would spend the next 30 decades wandering the blood-soaked roads of Japan, a Ronin, a masterless warrior shaped not by allegiance, but by the search for perfection. In 1600, when Musashi was 16, the Battle of Sekigahara erupted, the greatest and most decisive conflict in Japan's history. Over 160,000 soldiers met on the fields of Gifu Prefecture. On one side, the Western Army, loyal to Toyotomi Hideyori, led by Ishida Mitsunari. On the other, the Eastern Army, under Tokugawa Ieyasu, whose victory would shape Japan for centuries. Musashi joined the Western Army, though not under a formal banner. He fought alongside the Ukita clan, one of the most powerful families opposing the Tokugawa. When the Western Army fell, Musashi barely escaped with his life. For many samurai, defeat meant death or dishonor. For Musashi, it meant freedom. He had no lord, no code, no obligation, only the road. He began his Musha Shugyo, the warrior's pilgrimage. Traveling across Japan, he sought out the greatest masters of every school, Katori Shinko Ryu, Kashima Shinto Ryu, and Yoshioka Ryu among them, challenging them to duels that would refine his understanding of combat. Around 1604, Musashi arrived in Kyoto, the heart of culture and learning. It was there that he faced his most infamous series of battles, the Yoshioka duels. The Yoshioka clan were instructors to the Ashikaga shoguns, respected for their refined swordsmanship. Musashi first challenged Yoshioka Seijuro, the head of the school. He defeated him with a single strike to the shoulder.
Days later, he fought Yoshioka Denshichiro, Seijuro's brother, and killed him. The Yoshioka clan could not allow such humiliation. They set an ambush, dozens of swordsmen waiting for Musashi at dawn near Rendaiji Temple. Musashi arrived early. He hid in the shadows. And when the first men appeared, he struck, swift, silent, and unstoppable. When the sun rose, the ground was littered with bodies. The Yoshioka line was finished. From that day on, whispers spread across Japan. A new kind of samurai had emerged, one who fought with no master, no code, no obligation, only the road. But for Musashi, these were not conquests, they were lessons. He sought not glory, but understanding. Each opponent revealed something new about timing, rhythm, and the heart of combat. He wrote later, "In battle, if you make your opponent flinch, you have already won." Musashi began to understand that victory came not from brute strength, but from spirit.
Over the next 2 decades, Musashi wandered like a spirit through the war-torn provinces of Japan. He traveled through Kyushu, Chugoku, and Kansai, living on meager food, training endlessly, dueling hundreds. It was during this time that he perfected his signature style, Niten Ichi-ryu, the school of 2 heavens as one. In this method, Musashi wielded both the katana and the wakizashi simultaneously, adapting to distance and flow. He believed in striking decisively, never retreating, and breaking the rhythm of his enemy. He taught that a warrior must study not only swordsmanship, but the way of carpenters, painters, musicians, for every art shares one essence, perception and timing. His most famous duel came in 1612 on a small island off the coast of Shimonoseki, Ganryujima. His opponent was Sasaki Kojiro, known as the Demon of the Western Seas, master of the Nodachi, a long sword named Drying Pole. The 2 men agreed to meet at sunrise. Musashi arrived late, deliberately. He had carved a wooden sword from an oar during his journey by boat. Kojiro, angered by the insult, attacked first. Musashi sidestepped and struck with perfect timing. 1 blow to the head, and the demon was dead. That moment marked the peak of his dueling career. He was only 28 years old. After the duel, Musashi ceased fighting for reputation. He continued to travel, visiting temples and castles, meeting lords, scholars, monks, and warriors. He defeated every challenger, over 60 duels in total, none lost. In the 1620s and 30s, Musashi entered the service of Ogasawara Tadadzane and later the Hosokawa clan in Kumamoto. There he trained soldiers, advised on castle defense, and instructed young samurai in both the sword and the brush. He painted scrolls, his most famous being Shrike on a dead branch and wild geese among reeds. His calligraphy was powerful, unrefined, but full of life like his swordsmanship. Through art, he found clarity. Through solitude, he found peace.
By his 50s, Musashi had become a teacher and philosopher. He no longer fought with the sword, he fought with the mind. He began composing his final masterpiece, the Book of 5 Rings, Gorin no Sho. Written in 1645 while living in Reigando Cave outside Kumamoto, it summarized his entire philosophy, not just of combat, but of life. The 5 rings, earth, water, fire, wind, and void, symbolized the layers of understanding. Earth, the foundation, knowing your stance, position, and balance. Water, adaptability, the mind that flows around obstacles. Fire, aggression, the rhythm of attack and decisive action. Wind, awareness, understanding other schools and ways of thinking. Void, enlightenment, perceiving what cannot be seen, acting without hesitation. He dedicated the book to Terao Maganojo, his most devoted student. The lessons extended far beyond swordsmanship. Generals, artists, and businessmen still read them today. He wrote,
On June 13, 1645, Miyamoto Musashi passed away in the Reigando cave, seated upright, his two swords beside him. He was 61 years old. His students buried him near the village of Yuge, under a tall pine tree. In death, his legend only grew. The samurai class revered him not for loyalty, but for mastery, a man who had transcended the battlefield and achieved inner peace. During the Tokugawa era, his Book of Five Rings was studied by generals and philosophers. In the 20th century, it became essential reading for Japanese executives and martial artists alike. Musashi's life proved that greatness comes not from victory alone, but from relentless self-confrontation. He fought not for others, but to understand himself. His paintings hang today in museums across Japan. His grave near Kumamoto is still visited by martial artists from around the world. And Ganryu Island, once the site of blood, is now a monument to discipline, art, and timeless human will. Musashi's final words remain among the most profound ever written by a warrior. The way is in training.